And welcome into the Wednesday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, happy Wednesday morning. How are you? What's going on?
Hey, hi.
Hello.
Hi, microphone. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, I'm fine. This is probably mean of me to say, but and to be in my defense, like it's been kind of a busy couple of days, some travel stuff like that. I was sound asleep before puck drop last night. I just want you to know that.
Good for you.
I'm so sorry.
Shootout last night.
Yeah, perfect. The
8:30
TNT start also brings us all the way to a shootout.
Yeah, and I would have loved 8:30. Yeah, I mean, the real thing was 8:52. I mean, I was looking at it. I was like, puck dropped. Oh, 8:52. Just clicked 8:53. All right, let's go.
Oh, 52. My God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had to start on True TV.
Yeah, overtime in the other game. Yeah,
shootout in that one too.
So True TV gets another it's like March Madness for 2 weeks, and now this.
They're like turnover, start of game,
get it over
on True TV, and I look over, it's like, oh, it's 2-1. I missed, so but whatever.
So did you stay up to watch the whole
No,
game?
I made it till I think about 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I've been trying to work on, my language and stuff, and you can always be better. Always be better there. And
that's nice.
Cale McCarr scored with 8 seconds left in regulation last night. That went out the door. It's like, oh, good. Overtime. In a game that's already should have been over with 2 hours ago. Great.
Unbelievable.
Awesome. And then it went all the way to the shootout. And then in the last part of the shootout, we had to sit there for about 3 minutes while they determined if they're going to take Colorado's goalie out of the game or not. There's a lot of stuff going on last night. But, hey, nice win for the Preds.
Big dub.
We'll get into that.
Big dub for the Preds.
A little bit later in the show. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com will be with us later in the program. We will have a Titans win to discuss with him. We'll get into all things Tennessee Titans. We're going to get into a little bit more of the coaching search front today as well. So all that coming up later in the show, talking all things Tennessee Titans. Joe, we begin with Philip Rivers. He's back officially. He has signed with the Colts practice squad. So I guess the workout went good enough, both from his perspective and from the Colts perspective, where they've decided to move forward with this thing here. And here he is, signing back at the age of 44 after not having played in the NFL since the year 2020. And he is with the practice squad with the Indianapolis Colts. And I would presume that in the not-too-distant future, he will not be on the practice squad and will be the actual starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Otherwise, I don't really know what he's doing. So, Joe, your thoughts on Philip Rivers officially back in the National Football League?
Well, it's an amazing story. I mean, this to me means that like we're going to need a Philip Rivers movie, at least maybe like a Disney movie. Do they still do like Disney movies like that? They can watch on Sunday night, or
sure.
Am I a semi-boomer? I don't know, but
trillion kids would love the Disney movie, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, I saw a clip yesterday on Instagram. Not to interrupt you, I'm sorry. Fine, but it was like Philip Rivers and his kids helping him get back in the NFL, and it's the scene from Rocky. I don't remember which one, maybe 3. Where he's just running through Philadelphia, and there's like an absolute marathon of kids behind him. It was absolutely hilarious. I just lost it.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, no, it's what a story. It'll actually be a big downer. I mean, like if Riley Leonard can play this week, like you probably go that route still. I don't know, but it's going to be kind of a downer if we don't immediately get Philip Rivers on the field. It's just like, it's possible moving forward. I think that, he'd give you a chance. He'll give you more of a chance. That's why they did it this week. I mean, you cannot possibly have a worse, right? Like there aren't many worse situations than, yes, you're at Seattle in that stadium against that defense. And yet, I mean, I'm already like, planning my Sunday around it now. So, I mean, it's a crazy story for a guy to be out this long. And by the way, I did hear this on Sportsless earlier, and I think I wasn't sure about this. People have asked about this. So if he goes active roster at all, then that resets the Hall of Fame clock.
Okay.
So, but does this get him in?
Well,
if he gets them to the playoffs, He's got to be. Then
Pushes him over the top.
Give him the gold jacket. Give him the gold jacket.
I think he's got a decent shot anyway of getting in, but that would be something. What if he goes in? What if the Colts go on to win a Super Bowl with Phillip Rivers as their starting quarterback?
Well, then he should have his own wing. The thing is with him, and I heard Chris Candy kind of making the case for him on ESPN radio, but I think I think he's very similar to the guy he's always been tied with because of that draft, which is Eli Manning, right?
Yeah.
The different in both cases, I don't think either of them were ever like top shelf quarterbacks of their time, right? But they also had a lot of years, a lot of production, did really well. The difference is that Eli has the 2 Super Bowl wins over Brady, you know, and Rivers doesn't even have an appearance. I don't know, man. I would guess he would not be in at this point. Close, but no cigar. But now, I mean, hey, is this part of the reasoning for this for him?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I mean, look, the numbers he put up are outrageous. I mean, he's thrown for 63,000 yards, 421 touchdowns. Like, he's got really good numbers. Now, people have joked that he's looked at the all-time passing list. I think Stafford's like a couple hundred yards behind him now, and he's like, no. You're not going to be passing me, Matthew Stafford. I don't know what all goes into that. To your point, there was not a lot of postseason success for Phillip Rivers.
And there were some specific failures where he threw picks and stuff like, that's the problem.
Right. And, to your point, it's not his fault, but he's also playing at the same time largely throughout his career that, Brady was playing, Peyton Manning was playing, Big Ben was playing, Drew Brees was playing. Like, there's pretty darn good quarterbacks that he's directly compared against.
And, of course, Drew Brees, that's the whole thing, too.
Right.
The Chargers decided to move on from him. And, really, I would say look, he won a Super Bowl. So, you can't say it's not better than what Phillip Rivers did.
I didn't even mention Favre and Rodgers at the same time, too. So
yeah, there's that.
A lot of direct comparisons.
Yeah.
That could make it difficult.
That's always an interesting thing with that, though. It's like, so, because, like, I think Derrick Henry's going to get in and should get in. But some of the argument is like he's clearly like the best back or whatever in this time. So why do you get penalized? Why do you necessarily get penalized if during your era there just happened to be a ton of really, some eras just have more great quarterbacks than others. So that would be part of the counter argument on behalf of Rivers. Like, just look at what he did. Again, the postseason thing is what, to me, I think will make it tough for him.
It is kind of amazing. Like, he threw for over 4,000 yards for 8 consecutive years to close out his career. And like the one year he didn't, back in 2012, he threw for 3,600 yards, and he had 4 more 4,000-yard seasons before that. So you're talking 10 out of 11 years to close out his career. It's 4,000 yards. Like I said, the numbers are pretty impressive when you look at him.
Yeah, but he was, it's amazing with that franchise. It's like, Rivers, we're sitting here with Justin Herbert, who is obviously a special talent, and of course the greatest of all, Dan Fouts.
Yes,
as we all know, as we all acknowledge. But but nothing to show for it.
Right.
all that franchise quarterbacking, and not a single Super Bowl appearance to show for it.
Very limited postseason success. Look, I have no idea what this is going to do for the Colts. It feels to me, Joe, all joking aside, like a team that is extremely desperate given, number one, how they started the season, but number two, some of the moves they've made throughout the course of the season, and they are trying like mad to make something work here. Now, look, in 2020, they brought him in, and I will say, of the kind of second stop quarterbacks that they brought in, be it him, Wentz, and Matt Ryan, he by far was the best. So, he got into the playoffs and didn't work out in the playoffs, but he had a good year for the Colts. But that was 5 years ago. So I just, as fun of a story as it is, as hilarious in some ways as I think it is, I've got extremely limited expectations from the 44-year-old guy who hadn't played football in 5 years that he's going to come in and actually do much.
Yeah. Well, to me, though, it's like, okay, was this all Daniel Jones? Daniel Jones was really good. They have arguably the best running back in the NFL. They have a good defense. I mean, this has been just an all around really good team. I think that they have, as we've talked about earlier in the year, like they have a lot of good receivers, and obviously that Warren was a tremendous pickup. So I don't like if he can just come in and manage games. I don't think he has to necessarily throw for 350 and 3 touchdowns for them to win some of these games and at least get into the tournament.
I just don't want him to get hit. Don't hit him. They ought to put a red jersey on him.
So there'd be like an age.
You can't hit a literal
requirement.
grandfather. Like, you can't do that.
How many literal grandfathers have played in the NFL?
I mean, I don't know.
Probably some, but I mean, it can't be too many, right?
I mean, I would think. Like, I don't know the life and history of like Ken Stabler's relationship status.
There hasn't been too many guys over 40 playing.
Kenny
in
the
general.
Snake Stabler was a great grandfather, actually.
It's like, wow, look how old Ken Stabler is out there. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, George Blanda was playing like at age like 48, ripping darts on the sideline. He may have had. I mean, I have no idea. This is a good question. I need ESPN stats and info or Elias Sports Bureau to come up with how many literal grandfathers have played in the NFL.
It's a great question. Ed on the text line says, seeing Rivers return, will this inspire Rexrode back to the Titans beat? Joe, your thoughts?
Hey, I do what I'm told at work. Also, I was never actually on the Titans beat technically. But I mean, I what I mean? Like
I do know what you mean.
I do not deserve that credit for people like Kuharsky and Jimmy Wyatt. I was
which I'm sure he'll be happy to remind you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I did write columns about the Titans, and I miss it. I will say every once in a while, it's like, boy, I could rip off 1,000 really nasty words right now if I didn't have other stuff to do.
Is this true that Brett Favre became a grandfather during his final year in 2010?
That could be possible.
Okay.
Yeah, that could add up.
Okay.
While playing for the Vikings?
I mean, I could see that being the case. I don't know that for sure, but I could see that being the case.
That's the only one that this is from People magazine.
Yeah, the average parent age in Kill, Mississippi is probably about 14, so it's possible.
By the way, we love the people of Mississippi on our show. Just let that be known.
I'm just calling out Kill, Mississippi in particular.
There you go.
I mean, just what a
specifically
name.
that place.
What a name for a town. Kill, Mississippi.
I'd love to look into the history of that. I don't know it. So there's got to be a reason that happened.
Yeah. Good point.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We're off and running on what could be a doozy of a program this morning on Robby and Rexrode. I'm on about 3 hours of sleep. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. Rexrode's taking shots at the state of Mississippi. We'll take more of your thoughts.
I was just there.
At 615-737-1025, our phone number. And coming up next, I'll ask the question, does the number 1 overall pick at all affect the attractiveness of this job for a prospective head coach? We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Join Chase and Big Joe today from noon to 3 at Duncan, located at 1645 West Main Street in Lebanon. Stop by with a stuffed toy, donate it to a child this holiday season. We're teaming up with the Nashville Children's Alliance to give all these awesome stuffed toys donated by you just for stopping by. You'll be qualified for a 4-pack of tickets in the all-inclusive 501 Club at Bridgestone Arena to a Preds home game. Special thanks to the Metro Nashville Police Department, the Catalano Group, the Bluemont Group, Family Leisure, Thompson Machinery, Richmar Florist, Wrightstime HVAC, and Reladine for their support on this as well. For more information and a list of Duncan locations that you can donate a stuffed toy, visit thegamenashville.com/toy. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Joe, throwing this question out there. You know, Titans fans, some that we've heard from this week, freaking out a little bit that they won the football game, and now they don't control their own destiny for the number 1 overall pick. You got the Giants currently holding that spot, the Raiders right behind them, as you mentioned earlier this week. Those two teams do play each other to close out the string here, so we'll see what happens in that game. But my question is this. You know, we are just a few weeks away at this point, Joe, from getting pretty heavily into the Titans head coaching discussion. I mean, it feels like we've been having that discussion for a while now, but when you fire your head coach in like week 6 or whatever it was for the Titans, that creates a long time to be able to talk about this. So my question is this: how much does the number 1 overall pick influence the attractiveness of maybe taking this job if you're a prospective candidate? From this standpoint, you know, normally if you've got the number 1 overall pick and you're coming in as a new head coach, it probably means in all likelihood that you're going to have a chance to evaluate and select a quarterback with that pick. And I don't think that's going to be the case here. They've just selected a quarterback. So, I mean, I think if you're looking at the number 1 overall pick right now, I know if you're a Titans fan and you're looking at it this way, it's an opportunity to trade back and pick up some more picks and maybe have a chance to more quickly build your roster around the quarterback that you just drafted by weaponizing the number 1 overall pick this year. So, Joe, with all that in mind, does it matter at all from a head coaching perspective when you're looking at candidates and you're trying to make this job as attractive as humanly possible if you're the Titans, knowing that there could be some good candidates out there and there could be some jobs that are available that, frankly, right now are just better jobs than yours is? Does it matter at all when it comes to the next head coach if the Titans get the number 1 overall pick or not?
Well, I don't think – I mean, I think it's down the list. I mean, it's something that if I'm a prospective candidate, I definitely feel better about them having it, but it's still not nearly as important to me as like what you think about Cam Ward. What you think about Cam Ward, what you think about other guys on the roster. Do you look at it and say, okay, we can – I mean, obviously everybody's going to say, yeah, I'm glad to have 98 on this team. Okay, DK, there's a guy who looks like maybe a playmaker. Cedric Gray, Skoronski, you know, I don't know. How many players on the roster do you go down and say, okay, there's a little bit of a young nucleus there. And then, and also, I mean, to me, obviously, a huge thing is more than the pick itself, the picker, you know, like what does the coach think about Mike Borgonzi? And I mean, really, like, what do you have to go on? Obviously, yeah, he was part of the Chiefs. I mean, that's great. There's plenty of people who are parts of highly successful organizations go out on their own and it doesn't work out. First draft class, again, they kind of all ties together. What do you think of Cam Ward? Because the first draft class will always be judged by that, but did some other good things in there. So yeah, like I think I guess if you're comfortable with all that stuff, I don't feel like them picking 4th or something is like some non-starter, you know?
No, I just don't think there's a long list right now of like attractive things about this job at the moment. I mean, it's from an ownership standpoint, we know what that's been like. It's been totally in flux in terms of job stability and security and all those things. They've not done hardly any winning over the last few years. They really don't. I mean, as much as I do like DK, and it was nice to see Io Manor find his way into the end zone, and I think Gunnar Helm has got some potential to maybe a decent, pretty good tight end in the league. They really don't have a whole lot of young building blocks right now. Like they're in need of a lot more of those as they move forward here. So I guess I'm approaching this from the standpoint of they need all of the boxes that are able to be checked as much as they can get. They don't have a lot right now. And I wonder, the number 1 overall pick, does that help you at all in this discussion, knowing that you're not taking a quarterback with that pick?
Yeah, you definitely would. And especially it's like it's all, then you tie all that together to like, okay, this team has a 1 overall pick. And okay, people are absolutely in love with Fernando Mendoza. Like, I don't know that that's necessarily the case. I mean, I think he's probably going to go first, would be my guess. But also, I still feel like it's a little bit of by default more than it is like, oh my God, this guy's an incredible generational talent.
Right.
So, there's all that too. It's like, how much can it help you to have it? Yeah, look, I think you're right. Like, there aren't a ton of attractive things about this job. I mean, Kuharsky tells us that. I mean, we can ask him when he comes in here. I mean, he's big on, like, these wins are great for the culture. So I don't know. Does the coach say, oh, good, that team got a couple meaningless wins in December. I feel better about that nucleus. I don't know. I mean, Kuharsky seems to think this is a massively important thing to win a couple games. So maybe a coach says, hey, there's a team that's they were 3-14, but they learned to win a couple games. So I feel great about it. I'm being sarcastic, of course, because I think Kuharsky overrates.
A lot of winning done.
But I mean, good for them. Yeah, good for them to feel good for a week. But yeah, like you said, it's like you go through everything, and it's like, okay, how fast can you win with this group? And of course, it starts with the QB, doesn't it?
Yes, it has to. And that to me is where the first part of this is going to be judged by the coach. I say that, though. I mean, if the coach doesn't, I think if the coach doesn't like the quarterback, they're probably not taking the job. Probably not going to be, like, if they're meeting with Mike Borgonzi and he's like, you know what, I really don't think Cam Ward's any good, probably not going to be taking the job. And I know that we've talked about throughout the year, and people have brought up, like, well, if it's gone that bad for Cam Ward and at the end of the year the numbers are that bad, do you consider drafting another quarterback when the time comes? And look, if the numbers are bad at the end of the year, the way they're trending to be right now, people are going to bring that up. I just don't see that happening. Like, I'm trying to live in the land of reality, and I don't see that happening from the Borgonzi standpoint at all. Of, yeah, I know I just drafted this guy number 1 overall last year, but we're going to go draft another quarterback now. Thanks.
Right. Like, people don't put the kick me sign on themselves. Someone comes up to them and pats them on the back, right? I mean, that would be Borgonzi with, fire me now.
Right.
Artie Fufkin, kick my ass. Have you watched Spinal Tap yet? Artie Fufkin. Artie Fufkin, Polymer Records.
I've heard you make that joke enough now that I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, see, that's good. But it's even better if you actually watch it.
I guess so. That's next on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Office Space checked out.
That's right.
It was
so
good.
I'm not steering you wrong.
It was good. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Titans fans, where are you on the coaching search for the Tennessee Titans? We are not that far away from the Titans having to make a decision on that front. Who is the leader in your clubhouse for the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans? We'll take your thoughts on that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. I got some tickets to give away. A pair of tickets to the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl at Nissan Stadium coming up on Tuesday, December 30th. Tennessee taking on Illinois. Caller number two, quick draw, will win a pair of tickets to see Tennessee and Illinois in the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl coming up on Tuesday, December the 30th, a 4:30 start time on that day. So looking forward to that. Coming up, taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. Real quick on that last conversation, one texter says, I'm okay with the Titans winning and losing draft spots as long as it's because of Cam Ward. At this point in the season, I want to feel good about him going into the offseason more than I care about the draft position. And I don't hate that. Like, ultimately, he is the most important part of this franchise right now. And if he can string together some performances at the end of the year where you look at it and you say, all right, the numbers for the majority of the season were rough, but he figured some things out as time went along, and he was able to put some good performances together at the end of the year. I think you go into the offseason on a high note at that point if you're a Titans fan and you're excited about what it could be moving forward. Like even Sunday, right? It's like, the Titans won the game. Tony Pollard, I guess for a day, turned into prime Derrick Henry out of nowhere, and it was wild to watch on that front.
Sure.
The Titans offensive line somehow stonewalled the best pass rusher in the league, and everything worked out nicely for the Titans on Sunday. And yet, Joe, it's still a game where you look at it and it's like, well, the Titans won the game. Cam Ward wasn't very good. Like he was 14 of 28. Good to have a couple of touchdown passes in there, but he threw a pick in the game. He was kind of inaccurate in the game. So that game to me would not qualify as one of those games of you walk away from it feeling great about what Cam Ward put on display on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's Cam Ward. I don't know if you read the Nate Tice piece on Cam Ward for Yahoo, a very extensive deep dive. Again, this is before this particular game, and it was very, I'd say, optimistic about Cam. So, and look, I think some good points made in that piece about how the lack of good parts around him and in different situations have, like, it's hard, like you have to look at that and take it into account. I still think that you can watch someone play just like we did with Will Levis last year, and there's still a fair amount of evaluation that can take place, and not all of it is warm and fuzzy. I mean, it's, again, the just missing some stuff that has to be automatic every single time continues to happen with him. Does that ever end? I mean, at some point that stuff has to be reduced, and I don't think that that's dependent on anybody else. I think that's just straight up, like, he has to get more consistent with just what he's doing, take everything else away. He's standing in, he's throwing, there's an open target, he's just missing it, but I look, I also think that there's a lot, like, what is it if you do, that's the thing, we can go through everything and dice up all the numbers and look at the film and do all that stuff, and you still can't quantify what having confidence as a quarterback in my protection is going to hold, and having time built up with receivers too, right? Having time, years with guys to where it's like we're on the exact same wavelength. I know exactly where he's going to, stuff like that. You can't quantify it, and you can't quantify everything. We try with this stuff, but it really isn't possible. So there's a little bit of just faith that you have to have, that he's going to figure it out, but also in tandem with that, he's not going to figure it out unless you fix a lot of things.
Yeah. So, like I said, we're not that far away from a coaching search that I guess officially takes place. I mean, the Titans, I'm sure, have been doing their due diligence and going through this behind the scenes for the last few weeks, kind of putting their board together and seeing who their target is going to be. And then, by the time next month rolls around, we're going to find out who the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans is. And I wonder, as Titans fans have gone through this process and as more information becomes available because of the results of the season, where are Titans fans kind of leaning as to who they want to be as the next head coach? I mean, Joe, when this conversation started, Cliff Kingsbury was tossed in there as a name, people to watch. Then you look at what's happened in Washington this year. I know a big part of it is, Jaden Daniels has been injured throughout the year, but they're not very good. And I wonder if the shine's come off that a little bit. Joe Brady was a name that's mentioned a lot. I mean, I'm looking at the actual odds, which I don't believe have been updated since November the 7th, but this were the latest odds that I could find on DraftKings of the odds to be the next head coach for the Titans. Matt Nagy, the favorite, at plus 400. Arthur Smith is at number 2 at plus 500. And Cliff Kingsbury at number 3 at plus 650. And then you go
that
down
one surprises me.
It surprises me too. You go down the list a little bit further, and there's, McCarthy and Brian Flores and Robert Sala's at plus 1,200. And Jim Schwartz is down there. I mean, they've even got Eddie George on the list at plus 1,400.
There we go.
There's a lot of different names that we've thrown out there and talked about. I just wonder at this point, as we sit here today, where are Titans fans leaning? Because decision time is coming up here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We've talked, like, if you base it on our discussions, if Vegas was listening to this show, Robert Saleh would not be there on the odds. But I have no idea. Just because it seems like a good culture coach option, which of course with some good possibilities to pair him with in terms of an OC. I mean, maybe the Titans have no interest in that. I mean, Nagy makes sense, because of the Borgonzi connection. But I mean, I have no idea. Maybe Kuharsky can tell us when he comes in here. That if he's had any inklings of anything. But it's like, again, the whole scene could be totally disrupted if, like, now Tomlin just got a big win in Baltimore, So, I mean, okay, so maybe
Aaron Rodgers wants everybody to shut up now.
So yeah, leave us alone. It's like, you're the one saying people don't show up at workouts, dude. Maybe this means Harbaugh. Maybe Harbaugh's out.
Well,
maybe both Harbaughs. But that's the thing. It's like there is a huge possible disruption in the entire scene here. But I think if you're the Titans, if you really like someone and if you really like someone who is, I guess, attainable, because again, I just feel like a Tomlin would be, I think he'd have his pick of any franchise, and I just don't think I don't think he would like this, the way this looks, especially going from that ownership to this ownership. So do the Titans have someone that they're starting to really like home in on?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, Nagy, obviously there's the Borgonzi connection there. Now, as I heard this conversation brought up a lot in the aftermath of Kansas City. Like, what's Andy Reid going to do? Is Andy Reid coming back next year? I mean, look, he's, the idea of Andy Reid retiring has been thrown out there like 100 times over the last 5 years, but all they've done is kept winning and showing up in Super Bowls. And so, like, I understand Andy Reid from that standpoint not wanting to retire, because it's like, yeah, my team's really darn good and I can roll off a lot of championships here. Does he look at what's going on this year with the Chiefs? If it ends up playing out the way it looks like it's going to right now and they miss the playoffs, does he come back next year? Or does he look at it and say, you know what? I've had a great run. This is awesome, but we're going through a little bit of a transition here with the Chiefs. And at this point, it's time for me to step away. I mean, he's 67 years old. How much longer does he want to do it? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
So are you asking this question in terms of him looking around at another job, or just in terms of the Nagy impact?
If Andy Reid left, or if he decided to retire, would Nagy be on the Chiefs' radar? I mean, I would have to think he would get an interview, at least.
He'd get an interview. That's a really interesting thing. It's like, you don't want to continue this, and really he actually did okay. Mitch Trubisky, everybody, but at the same time, I could also see go get the best possible, whoever that would be. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Again, go get Tomlin or whatever. I don't know, whoever may be out there, whoever. But yeah, I would have to think that he'd at least be taken seriously as a candidate.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you feel like Tomlin, if something were to happen with the Steelers, it almost feels like he could pull a Vrabel and take a year off before jumping right into another job?
Yeah.
Like Tomlin, Harbaugh, you wonder.
But remember, Vrabel wanted the Chargers job, and he would have gone right there, but Harbaugh beat him out.
Okay.
So it wasn't just like Vrabel's like, I'm taking a year off. He was like, yeah, okay, I'll let Amy pay me for a year. But he was going to take that job. He wanted the Chargers job, which I get, because people are like, yeah, I want that as my quarterback.
Right.
So I think that's the answer. It's like if there's a job that's like, oh
really
yeah,
there.
but if not, sure, he can
just sit out a year.
He can sit out a year and he'll
see what happens.
He'll get a suite. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
he'll have options next year too.
You know, he's been around forever, Tomlin. He's still only 53. Like, he could still do this for a long time, right? I mean, that's, he's still got a lot of, if he wants to, a lot of years left in front of him coaching, I would assume.
So you're saying 53 is young?
Yeah, from a head coach. Maybe not for an NFL quarterback.
Well, that's true. When Rivers is still winging it around in 9 years, man, he's definitely a Hall of Famer then.
Yep, no doubt. 615-737-1025, our phone number. Titans fans, where do you stand on the coaching search? Who is your number one candidate? We'll take your thoughts on that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game, taking your thoughts on the Titans and the coaching search on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Let's welcome in Dylan in Nashville to the program. Dylan, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Guys, good morning. Thanks for taking the call, man. I just think if the Steelers are stupid enough to let Mike Tomlin walk, the Titans better be first in line. I don't think the guy's ever had a losing season. And again, he's only 53. That is young. If we're using the Andy Reid timeline, he could coach for another 10, 15 years or so. So I wouldn't want him to take off a year either. I think this young roster that Borgonzi built, he really knocked it out of the park with this rookie class. But I think they need that culture setter like right now. And there's nobody better to set that culture than Mike Tomlin. I mean, if you get all those rookies learning from him on the jump, just look what he did with the Harrisons and the Palomalos of the world, man. So I'll hang up and listen, guys. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate it.
Got to have some Harrisons and Palomalus too.
That's true.
No, he's really good.
I mean, side note, the craziest thing about Polamalu, him using the time up that jump over the line of scrimmage was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Oh man,
still in commercials out there.
Yeah, still
elite hair,
amazing lettuce. Yeah. You had the time period where you had Palomalu and Ed Reed both playing safety in this league.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It was
pretty good stuff. I mean, in terms of the culture setting, I would assume you can't do a whole lot better than Tomlin based on who could be available this offseason. Now, we'll see. I mean, right now they're winning the division at the moment. So if they go on to win the division, we'll see what they do in the playoffs. I know that there is a lot of noise around him right now in terms of, he's been there a long time. If they don't have any sort of postseason success this year, could it be one of those things where both the Steelers and him are looking for maybe something different at that point?
Yeah.
I don't know. If I had to guess right now, Joe, my guess is he's probably still going to be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year, but I don't know that. We'll see.
I would guess that too, but I'd still only be like 65-35 or something, or 60-40. And again, I think a lot of it is it's not just like the caller was like, if they're stupid enough to move on again. I think it would have to be a somewhat mutual decision.
It would be
just like, what? Again, Andy Reid. Charles brought up the Andy Reid example on our show, and I think it's perfect. It's just like, okay, you know what? Like new stuff for everybody. Sometimes it's just the way to go.
Well, and the other part of that is, if they don't win any playoff games this year, are you going to just trot Rodgers back out there again next year? Like he's been fine. Like he's not been bad or anything this year, but at some point, if you're in the Steelers organization, it's like, we gotta find our quarterback of the future here. So I don't know. Like I mean, you could throw Aaron Rodgers out there, I guess, at the age of what would be 43 at that point again next year. But is that going to change the math all that much as to what you are right now? I don't think so. So I guess my point in all that is saying, if it doesn't work out this year and they don't do anything in the playoffs, and they end up drafting 23rd or whatever they're going to be at that point, is Mike Tomlin going to be like, you know what? Let's go try to identify a quarterback late in the first round, and sit through all that again,
right? Or try to move up. Yeah, I mean they're the definition of wandering through the quarterback desert. Well, somewhat like the Colts. The late stages of Roethlisberger, and you try Russ and all this stuff, and you draft Pickett and Fields, and So I think that there's an absolute limit on what Aaron Rodgers is anymore and what you can do with him, unless you have a great team, and they don't. That's the thing too. I mean, they're great. They got some great players on defense who are older. I could make the case for Tomlin. As incredible as that tradition is, and again the ownership and all that stuff, that it's not a great situation. I don't think a lot of other coaches would be out there winning 12, 13 games, winning playoff games with that group.
Right. Let's head back to our phone line. Welcome in Josh in Clarksville to the program. Josh, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, gentlemen. I was just going to say, I think there's a candidate that a lot of people haven't mentioned that I think the Titans should go after. They should go after the defensive coordinator of the Texans, Matt Burke. Yep. Because they have that number one defense in the league. But knowing the Titans, will probably end up with a retreaded Kevin Stefanski. And I'll just hang up and listen. You guys take care.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it.
Okay, so I understand. I'm not saying he's not a good DC. I'm sure he is. Okay, but Like this is where is it his schematics? Is it his game planning, or is it the absolute monsters that they have on that defense that are, and again, that's how people get opportunities. So I get it. But I always have a buyer beware when it's like, again, everybody on college football is like, Matt Patricia, oh my God. Like, yeah, man. I mean, he's got like 3 first-rounders out there killing people.
Well, and don't forget who their head coach is. It's D'Amico Ryan, he's
a defensive guy.
He's a defensive guy. That's how he got that's how he got the job. I mean, D'Amico Ryans was a really good defensive coordinator. Yeah. So look, again,
and you could make the case, by the way, he was a really good defensive coordinator with a loaded San Fran team. So, I mean, I'm not saying it can't work out, but I still have a little bit of, okay, how much is him? How much it is just,
but
Stingley and
to that
Anderson
point, again, as we've talked about a lot throughout this process, he'd be on my radar. Why not interview him? I mean, I think you should cast. That's the benefit of firing your coach when you did. I would assume at this point the net has been cast pretty wide, and then you have your conversations, you do your due diligence, and you narrow that pool as time goes on. But I mean, look, I mentioned the odds earlier. Eddie George is on the list. I don't know how much serious consideration that would get. I mean, on down the list is Marcus Freeman in terms of the odds. I mean, I'd probably give him a call and see what his interest level would be. I have serious doubts that he would want to move from Notre Dame to coaching the Tennessee Titans, but you make the phone call, I think, if you're the Titans at that point.
Yeah, it's out of a ball game. Notre Dame got screwed. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to head on to the NFL.
Maybe that's why he set out the ball game. He's like, you know what? I got to really get ready for this interview with the Titans.
I got some interviews coming up. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I agree on casting a wide net. Now, I don't like you can't interview like everybody, right? Like you still have to at some point, like you have to what's the max of how many people you would actually go through the entire interview process?
The whole process with? I think that's more limited, but I like
5 or 6.
But I would assume over the last, couple of months here that they've been, working on this behind the scenes and talking about
I would hope so. Yeah. I would definitely hope so.
I mean, I guess that's more what I'm talking about. As you've gone through this process, I would hope that it's included a lot of different people and thoughts, and then ultimately it's their job to be ready for this by the time the calendar shifts to when you start hiring coaches and go through your interview process. And hopefully they are.
Absolutely. And obviously with someone like McCarthy,
you talk to him anytime you want.
Yeah. You would think that would be.
And he could be sitting in the building right now for all I know.
Yeah. You'd think that one would be pretty well figured out. And maybe there's really not much interest. I don't know. But that's a benefit you have of someone who's not actively in the NFL. Jason in Glitzville says, I placed a small wager on a long shot like Sarkisian. Adam Stanley loves Texas. Sark mentioned coaching the pros. Well, I mean, remember, Diana Rossini reported a few weeks ago that his representatives, I don't remember the exact wording. Was it like were potentially interested in the NFL? Was actually the Titans actually mentioned?
I don't think it was the Titans specifically.
Okay. But it was just basically like Sarkisian could be open. I think it was like could be open to the NFL. And of course he then was like, no, that's not true. But I mean, obviously there was someone representing him, I would say, had some inkling or some reason to say something like that. So yeah, I mean, I could see Sarkisian is one of those guys who I could see crossing over to the NFL, for sure. I think that's possible. People talked about Lane Kiffin. Is that exciting if you're a Titans fan? I don't know. I have a little buyer beware on that too. Just on, on the almost all college guy coming in to be your head coach. It has worked at times, but way more than not, it hasn't worked.
By the way, this is what Rossini said. She said at the time, I think this was in late October. Quote, I'm told that that representatives for Texas coach Steve Sarkisian have let NFL decision makers know that he would be interested in potential head coaching openings, including the Titans. Now, I think the Titans at that point may have been
the only opening one.
Yeah.
Or it's just like you have to mention even the Titans.
Yeah. He might
believe it or not.
He might even be open to that. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the coaching search. We will get into the Predators in the next hour as well. Paul Kuharsky with us later in the show. We'll get into all things Tennessee Titans with him. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Wednesday morning, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Paul Kuharsky from Kuharsky.com will be with us later in the program. We got a lot of things on the Titans front to get into with him. Joe, we will get into the Nashville Predators here in just a second. They get a win last night against Colorado, which not a lot of teams have done so far this year. And they've been doing a little bit more winning as of late, so we'll get into that. We have heard from a Steelers fan on the text line who says, I believe that the game is past Mike Tomlin. As a Steelers fan, it's rinse and repeat. It's the definition of insanity. I understand the Titans have not had the best coaching staff since they've come to Tennessee, but I really don't think Tomlin is the answer. There's no reason the Steelers had a 4-game lead this year in the division, and within 6 weeks, they were fighting for their life to be on top. It's ridiculous when you have a coach that people claim to be one of the greatest.
Yeah. Look, okay, if you want to say it's because the game is quote-unquote passing by, not because, again, they're getting old on defense and they're not nearly as great as they were, not because Aaron Rodgers is old and is not nearly as great as he was. You can blame it on the coach. I get it. This is why I think there's the change of scenery thing is a good idea. If I'm an NFL franchise, I'm lining up to hire the guy immediately. Okay? I mean, the game is passed him by. Do you think that like he hasn't kept up with all these guys, all they do all day is they copy each other schematically. I mean, it's just he has not had the pieces to win more than he's won.
No, and having said that, I understand if you're a Steelers fan. I mean, he's been the head coach since 2007. That's a long time.
I agree.
And they've not had any postseason success in a long time at this point. I mean,
they haven't been very good.
They haven't been very good, and they've been good enough to either sneak into the playoffs or be right on the edge of the playoff race every year, right? And to his credit, I mean, we've talked about this before, but they've never had a losing season under him, which when you've been the head coach in the National Football League since 2007 is incredible.
It is. And I get that Steelers fans are sick of it, sick of hearing about it. Great. But we never win anything big. I get it. But yes, it is incredible.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And I think it tells you a little something about, again, when that's your floor, again, Mike Vrabel, coach of the year, at the toast of the league. Well, he lost 18 of his last 24 here in Nashville. Was he a crappy coach then? Did he all of a sudden get stupid? And, oh my God! What is this? Is that zone blocking or I don't know gap block? What's cover 3?
What's a zero blitz? Does that mean no one blitzes?
Yeah, I mean it's like look, the Steelers have been very good to great on defense, and we're seeing that somewhat erode. And then there's also personnel stuff. And that always gets into that too. It's like, okay, well, you're telling me that Tomlin doesn't have a strong voice and all that stuff. I'm sure he does. So there's been some mistakes, and I said the same thing about Vrabel when he was here, right? Like Vrabel, it's not like Vrabel was completely innocent in some of the mistakes John Robinson made,
sure,
right? But I mean, the guy can coach, in my opinion, and I know that people will be all over him if he's elsewhere. And yeah, I mean, someone on the text line is out. Now, Steelers fan, be careful what you wish for. When it comes down to it, Mike Tomlin, defensive coach, kind of boring, all that stuff, but he's like solid. Again, they didn't do
anything with it.
They lost to Brady in that one title game. But I'm just saying, like they had the most fun, explosive offense in the NFL for a stretch there with the Killer Bees, right?
Yep.
That was all Tomlin. I mean, it's just all these coaches are dependent on the guys who actually play the game to make them look smart or stupid more than anything.
Again, Kuharsky will be with us coming up here in just a few minutes, and we will get into the coaching search with him as well as we talk all things Tennessee Titans. The Preds get a win last night against the Colorado Avalanche, which does not happen very often this year. Joe, it looked like the Preds were going to get a regulation win against the Colorado Avalanche, which has only happened twice this year around the league. Cale Makar tied it with 8 seconds left. The Predators did win the game in the shootout. They survived a couple of chances in overtime, a couple of huge saves from UC Saros there. Colorado 21-2-7 on the season. So the Predators getting a win against the number 1 team in the NHL. They're playing better. They have won 5 of the last 7. They are, playing, I think, more consistently better hockey than they were earlier in the year, obviously, when the wins are coming that way. And, it's not perfect. I mean, they'll have a game like they did on Saturday where they basically got run out of the building by the Carolina Hurricanes. They got Colorado again coming up on Saturday this week. So, the more you play Colorado, it's not great. I mean, you don't love playing the Colorado Avalanche, particularly on the road, like they will be coming up, but they are playing better. So I wonder what this means, because when you look at the standings, the answer so far is it hasn't meant a whole lot. Heading into the game last night, they were the last place team in the NHL. They vaulted Vancouver last night, so they are no longer the last place team in the NHL. They are 31st at the moment. So I don't think big picture wise anything has really changed in terms of what the outlook is probably going to be this year. But there's no doubt they're playing better at the moment. So I wonder if you're a Predators fan, like what are you feeling right now?
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess it's somewhat similar to, although it's obviously way early in the year and there's way more hockey to play, but it's somewhat similar to some Titans fans are like, yes, I want my team to win. I want to feel good. This is what I do. I'm a fanatic of this team. I want them to win. So some Preds fans are probably like, yeah, good. This is good. They're competitive. They've got some stuff. They're figuring some stuff out. How much of the fan base is like, please do not convince Barry that he's not selling. Please don't. I mean, I hate to be cynical, but I mean, that's got to be on the minds of people. But again, if you're a fan of the Preds, is it not hard to like root against them? Or even if it's not rooting against them, like, is it not hard to not be somewhat happy when you see them play well?
Yeah, I mean, especially against a team like that last night. Now, look,
like Saros
it wasn't really like they came out there and dominated last night. I mean, Saros made 39 saves. Frankly, like I thought early in the game, I was like, they might get 9 goals scored on them tonight because he was leaky. He let up, there's rebounds all over the place. And to his credit, he dialed it in as the game went on. He got a lot better. He made some huge saves. The second period, though, the Predators were holding on for dear life. And to their credit, they held on. So it wasn't like they just went out there and dominated last night or anything. But they're winning games. Like they won a game in Florida last week. And I know Florida, when you look at the standings, they're not very good right now. They've got, a billion people hurt. And they're going to get some of those guys coming back. But I thought it was just a really gutsy effort from the Predators last week in Florida to go down there and get that win. And clearly, like if you want to connect some dots here, ever since Barry Trotz basically called him out that he needed more from the players, he's gotten more from the players. Now, how sustainable is it? I don't think very, but they are playing better hockey. Like the one thing that's pretty clear, the line of Stamkos, O'Reilly, and Evangelista, for whatever reason, they've tried a ton of different combinations with Stamkos throughout the last couple of years. This one's working. Like Stamkos is playing really well. O'Reilly's playing well. Evangelista is playing right up there with probably the best hockey he's ever played. And I'm not saying that those guys are like totally carrying them right now, but they're doing a really good job. And that has been good to see. Those three kind of play as well as they have together.
Yeah, especially, I mean, Evangelista, again, is one of those guys who, I mean, it's like a couple of years ago, you thought things were going one way, and they have the contract thing coming in. It's like, is he going to be part of the answer here for this team? So, like, that's someone that that he's among that group that you really want to see more from to hope that like he can be part of the solution at some point. Although again, whatever they may be entering, then you get into like, okay, so how long are they going to be in that? But yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. Some of these guys, like Stamkos, I guess you like that too. Of course you like that too, but I mean, it's a different situation, right? I mean, as opposed to one of your homegrown, still youngish guys.
Well, they're having some young guys come in and start to contribute. I mean, we've talked a lot about Matt Wood. He's, I think, second in the NHL among rookies in goal scoring right now. So that's good to see. Reed Schaefer, great move last night, like a power move where he just basically crushed Cale McCarr in the corner and got the puck and just drove it right to the net and scored. And it's like, okay, I don't know how good Reed Schaefer's going to end up being. I don't think Reed Schaefer's going to be, some top 6 player or anything. But those type of plays, that's good to see your young guys make. So you're seeing some young guys come in and start to play. Svechkov, I thought, had one of his better games last night, so that was good to see. I think you're going to see some more young guys coming up. Barry Trotz talked with DVD yesterday. We're going to get into that here in just a few minutes in terms of some of the stuff that's floating around out there right now. But, a lot of people on the text line right now are saying, you know what, it was brutal earlier in the year, and at least right now they're a little bit more fun to watch. So you'll take that. At the moment, we do have some people saying, still pretty apathetic to what the Preds are doing right now. But there's no doubt it's been more palatable over the last couple of weeks than it was.
Yeah. And so, I mean, again, just even to just end or pause the Burnett stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it probably should be anyway, but at least people can talk about things other than what kind of things can they do to show that they care or to show accountability, right? They're actually playing good hockey.
Yep. 615-737-1025, our phone number. We will get to some comments from Barry Trotz that he had yesterday on DVD coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Let me ask you about Stamkos and O'Reilly on the ice. They've been on a line lately with Luke Evangelista, and it seems that that line has elevated the games of all three players. Why has that been a successful mix?
Well, I think on every good line there's there's a playmaker, and it's driven. I think Ryan O'Reilly drives a lot out of the offensive stuff. He's very intelligent. He's got a great stick. He sees the ice pretty well. You got a finisher in Stammer, and he can still pass the puck, and he still makes some plays. And I just think with Luke and Ryan have had something good. It's helped Luke's development this year. I think Luke's played much better after probably the first 10 games. He's sort of caught up to the rest of the group. And there's a playmaker on there. There's a guy that's got dog in him, in O'Reilly, and then you got a real good, smart, future Hall of Famer and Steven Stamkos to finish. So it's got all the elements for a good line when they're all working, and they're all working.
That's Barry Trotz on with DVD yesterday discussing that top line that we talked about. Stamkos, O'Reilly, Evangelista playing pretty well for the Predators right now. Joe, it is rumor season out there in the NHL. We're a couple months out from the NHL trading deadline, and you've got O'Reilly's name floating around everywhere. You got Stamkos kind of floating around everywhere. So a lot of people have made the connection with the New Jersey Devils. Trotz did say yesterday that when you look at those guys, it's his job to listen right now. And he never outright said that he's had conversations with the Devils or anybody else specifically about like O'Reilly and what that could look like. But I think we all know, like, their teams are calling, and I think O'Reilly's probably going to be at the top of that list. I know some Predators fans look at the production from Stamkos, or maybe more specifically the lack thereof, over the last couple of years and wonder, why would teams be interested in that with the number that he's at? But I'm just telling you, like, I've talked about this before. If he's in a place where he's got people that can get him the puck, he's still going to be pretty productive. And right now, that doesn't exist here. Now, like, to their credit, like I said, that line has looked pretty good. But I'm really interested to see here over the next couple of months if it doesn't, if they don't go on some crazy run here, which is what it's going to take to get back into the thick of some sort of race at this point. If they don't do that, and I don't think anybody has the expectation that they're going to do that, what does the sell-off look like, and how many of these guys are gone? I mean, I think we would all assume O'Reilly. Stamkos gone. Somebody called about Marchessault. Is he gone? Like, what's the depth of what that's going to look like? It's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah, that's a great question. Do you have if you're Barry Trotz, do you have almost like a cap? Like, I can't completely gut the place, or is it just like, hey, if each individual deal is attractive enough, I mean, that's what we're doing. We're selling.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd probably lean that way. I mean, look, I think people are going to call on all those guys I just mentioned. Doesn't mean you necessarily have to make a deal. But I think people are going to call on Michael McCarron. And I said this last year. I think they got calls on Michael McCarron last year. He's in a contract year, so the Predators could re-sign him. And I know there are Predators fans out right now as I'm talking about this, being like, yeah, what are they going to get for Michael McCarron? I'm just telling you. Like, a fourth-line guy who wins a ton of face-offs, who's really good on the penalty kill, they will get more from him than you think they will.
Yeah.
Because of the way that he plays.
But then I also, again, it's like with any of this stuff, you don't know when you get out on the other side.
Yeah.
No one plans for this to be 3, 4, or 5 years.
Right.
Sometimes it goes more than that. But you also you do need to ask yourself that, right? Like, who do we want to be part of this on the other side, or is
Right.
it just it's just a completely different team?
It's a good question. I just think that's something over the next, and they're playing better hockey now, and maybe they delay this for a little bit. I don't know. I know that's not what a lot of Predators fans want to hear, but I think at some point, even with them playing better, you're going to see some moves start to get made, and I just wonder when that clock starts and how deep into the pool Barry Trotz is willing to go there. We welcome in our good friend Paul Kuharsky from PaulKuharsky.com to the program. PK, how we doing?
Good morning. I'm well. You sound very energetic. I'm highly impressed driving.
Thank you.
You have any
Impressive.
hockey takes?
Joe sounds like he was up all night.
Oh, I'm feeling great. Thank you. You got any hockey takes?
No. No.
Okay. No thoughts on this topic?
There's not enough space
Yeah.
generally, and there's not enough space at the Olympics.
Here's the take. Don't be starting any more games at 8:52 local time.
Yeah.
At home.
How are the ratings?
I don't know. It's a good question.
How was the crowd?
Crowd was actually pretty good. I was kind of surprised by how good the crowd was.
People
for
love a night out in
a
Nashville,
game that
Jim.
started
I
at
don't know
9
if you know
o'clock.
that.
It was maybe more of the beer guzzling crowd than the
Yeah. Although I did
parents
see,
and kids
I
crowd.
did see a few kids out there. I was like, wow, that kid's like 3, and he's just out here partying at 11:30. Good
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Good for him.
PK, the Titans get a win in Cleveland. You were there to witness this win. Haven't been a whole lot of wins to witness over the last couple of years. What did you make of the way the Titans played, and specifically the limitation of what Myles Garrett was able to do in that game?
This team went to Cleveland with a plan, which is something in itself. Executed the plan, stuck with the plan, and got a result. Fancy that. It proves these things can happen. So very, very impressive. The odds of them doing it again, not that the game is shaped the same in San Francisco, but I wrote, every time they do something good, every time they do an element of the game well, we've not really seen them sustain it. So, it would be wonderful if for the offensive line, that was a pivot point. We wound up looking back and say, hey, remember how Cleveland started all of this? But, need to see it to believe that it's the start of something instead of an aberration. But for one day, they were what, we thought they could be maybe during training camp and over the summer when they did the revamping and all of that. I don't think I don't think any of us thought Tony Pollard had that left in him. But when you can get some first downs, and I think Corey Levin really deserves a shout out. He's outplayed Lloyd Cushenberry. I think he's central at the energy in the run game. And of course, Nick Holtz pretty much said, he expects when Cushenberry's healthy, they'll put him right back in the lineup.
You're just not going to admit that Mike McCoy completely destroyed your buddy Jim Schwartz? I mean, were you going to give some flowers? Come on.
Good job I just said good job by everybody.
That's not enough.
The head coach
That's not
organizes
enough.
everybody. Look, are you going to do the thing like, I've underrated Mike McCoy all this time because he had a good Sunday, and all those other Sundays when I crushed him because he was terrible, it turns out he wasn't terrible. No, he was terrible all those Sundays.
Well, I'm just
He
saying.
had a good day.
Well, you need
Congratulations
to.
to him.
I want you to call balls and strikes. So you have no problem with that when he sucks. I
just complimented the entire organization.
I need a little more than that.
That's headed by the head coach.
But see, you're doing the whole organization. Like, everyone did a good job. I'm specifically asking you about Mike McCoy.
I don't think they went out and won one for the Gipper. I don't.
It's an impressive victory speech after, though. I enjoyed it.
I thought he did fine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Just
some
a quick
there's some
aside.
cringy victory speeches around the
quick
NFL.
aside,
Man.
the public victory speech has ruined the victory speech. I actually read, I think Diana Rossini wrote it, that like a coach admitted like driving to the team hotel or whatever, he kind of was thinking about what he would say if they won, because now that team social media has made it public, it's performative as opposed to natural. Just another thing ruined by, hey, teams, you don't have to make it public. You could let the coach be himself behind closed doors. But no, I have to keep up with the Joneses and the Chargers and make it public.
Did you just say ruined? There's an I in that word. Ruined. Why do you struggle with the English language to the extent that you do?
He speaks the king's language and he has the king's disease.
That is true. It's gout, not goot, or whatever you would call it.
How the Canadians say it.
Yeah, it's true. I got the goot. I better get out of here. I got some goot, guys. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I miss the early days of when the Lions first started to win, and the Dan Campbell victory speeches were in the locker room, because he used to just list off like it was like 15-minute long speeches, like, and on the 2nd and 7 in the second quarter, a great block to shield off that run there from David Montgomery. Good stuff.
See, some of those are good. Like his are, obviously there's been some good ones. Vrabel here,
Efficient.
I forget what the one game was, but they had the game or they played it was like they played like some song and he just danced around like an idiot.
Oh yeah,
like that was just
natural.
Like he wasn't. And Vrabel probably doesn't give a crap about if the social media is in or not. But I think that's a really good point, that these coaches feel like they have to do something.
And now top the next guy and all that.
Yeah.
You know who's the worst victory speech giver in the league by far?
Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur, he's awful.
I knew you were going to say
Definitely
that.
I'll tell you though, I'm going to take
He
responsibility.
has a lot of
for-
opportunities, though,
Yeah, he
by the
does.
way.
I'm going to take responsibility for his good one because I told him this city
Oh,
will
yeah.
burn if you come here and win
I remember that
with
one.
Malik Willis. And he told me not only did he use that in the locker room, and
Is there video?
But he was. I don't know that there's video, but he told me at the owners meeting he had matches and he was trying to burn whatever he's holding in his hand to like make his point. They said the city would burn if we came here and won with Malik Willis, and he was trying to like light on fire the
What a
script that he was
dork.
holding.
See what I'm talking about?
I thought
God.
it was funny as hell.
Now I'm on Robbie's fire LaFleur team.
Yeah, LaFleur fire him 3 weeks ago. Now gotta sign him.
None of this matters.
No, he's still
January.
down on him.
The only thing that
He's still
matters.
down on him.
He is, but I think Packer Nation feeling a little bit better.
They are. 615-737-1025. Our phone number. Paul Kuharsky with us the rest of the show. We got a lot of things on the Titans front to get into. We welcome your questions as well. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us here on the program.
Hey, see this YouTube comment, Robby?
No.
It says
Never looked.
PK is a chief spokesperson hired to toe the Titans party line.
That's what I think of when I think of PK.
What do you think about that, PK? Your reaction,
That's the
your
first-
thoughts.
First thing that
Your
comes to
thoughts,
mind.
PK.
I think there are stupid people everywhere.
Are you suggesting this person's stupid?
No, I'm not suggesting it.
That's the first thing I think of when I think of Kuharsky is Titans spokesperson.
Yep. Well, Brinker can do no wrong per PK.
Yeah, that's what I say.
So as you mentioned, Tony Pollard's performance, not only the output and what he did from a yardage standpoint, you broke off a 62-yarder, 32-yarder for a touchdown. Like, he was really, really good in that game. And he did it against a defense that heading into the game was the number 2 defense in the National Football League. So, I mean, you brought up Corey Levin, which I think definitely deserves a shout out here, but how did the Titans pull that off? Like, how did the Titans go from not being able to run the ball basically at all season long, to that performance on Sunday against a very, very good defense?
I don't know. Well, I mean, the one thing that Skoronski said, and he and J.C. Latham and Dan Moore all kind of hit on it in some way, shape, or form, is that they were really pissed off about the previous week against the Jaguars, and that carried through the preparation week, and that there was kind of like a mindset and a determination to not get embarrassed by the Browns and to let Garrett do his thing and to get back to running the ball. Now, I don't know where this mindset has been and why they've been incapable of showing us at least a degree of what they showed us against Cleveland. But finally, they had some motivation across the front 5 and beyond. I mean, the backs were excellent. The tight ends were excellent. The receivers downfield were excellent. The receivers still on the screens, just, I mean, close to the line of scrimmage, wide, don't block well. But I just, there was a totally different kind of mindset. And I don't know how they found it. And I don't know if they can sustain it. But for those 3 hours, which was really felt more like 3:45, I don't know what the game time was.
It did drag.
The first quarter of some second window games was over before the Titans game was over. They found it, and they played like a team with what's been the traditional Titans mentality and method to win.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that to not be a weekly thing, and they should be pissed all the time about how bad they are. But I do feel like I mean, last week we, and I'm sure everybody else in town, were like, Myles Garrett's gonna have about 8-10 sacks, right? So that's part of this.
I did say one that, like, oftentimes when we pick a player and say he's going to go crazy against them, it doesn't unfold the way you think.
Right.
I didn't think Garrett was necessarily going to have 8 sacks. I thought the Browns would find a different way to dominate them defensively, and that that Garrett wouldn't go insane. But I didn't envision anything like this.
Tony Pollard just dominating a game.
Well, they
like
scored 31 points in the game, which, as
Unheard
you two
of.
both know, it's darn near impossible over the last couple years to get into the 30s. And they did so with their quarterback, I think, being average at best in the game. Like, he's 14 of 28, missed a couple throws that you can't miss in the NFL.
couple good red zone throws, and that's the difference between 3 and 7.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but I mean, he put 31 points up in the game. PK, obviously a lot of people that we've heard from this week, you look at the stat line from Ward, you look at the stat line from Sanders, and it's like, wow, Sanders heavily outplayed Ward in the game. Obviously, the Titans defense is not the Browns defense, and we know that. We know the Titans specifically on the back end, pretty limited in what they've got on the defensive side of things back there. Jeffrey Simmons, outstanding in the game, 10 pressures on the quarterback, so that was good to see. But what did you make of the Sanders versus Ward performance and the discourse that has emerged since then?
Yeah, look, Sanders made some plays for sure, and I don't parse the box score. The box score is the box score. The stats are the stats. there were some drops that hurt Cam. There was more reliability on the Sanders side, which helped him, and a lot of yak that helped him. Counts the same, right? But if you look at the second half of that game, where the Titans largely gained control, here's what the Browns did. Punt, 7 plays punt, 3 plays punt, 3 plays punt, 4 plays interception, 3 plays punt, 1 play fumble, 6 plays blocked punt. Then 5 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns. So if
which is a lot of good Sanders stuff
right
in there.
But if you really get into the nuance of the game, there is a good stretch of the game where he and that offense did nothing. It might have been stats that came out of it. And those last 2 touchdown drives were not unfamiliar like Cam Ward has. He's not gathered stats by any means, but some of his best play has come late in games when the Titans are behind 2 scores and the defensive mentality changes. And again, it counts in the box score the same. There's no column for like down 2 scores playing against a softer defense. But those last 2 drives were down 2 scores playing against a softer defense. So, I mean, the context is important. Well, it's a soft defense, period.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the Cam Shadeur stuff, whatever. But I do hope that you can at least sit here as someone who's a Shadeur hater who thinks he shouldn't even be in the league and admit that he's got the chance to be a quarterback.
He's got a chance to be a quarterback. But I don't think he was like, I don't think that game was like overwhelmingly like, oh my God, Shadeur. He made some dangerous throws. He had guys make plays for him. He threw some short stuff that went long. I didn't look at that and go, oh my God, this guy's going to be an unbelievable quarterback in this league.
No, but he made a couple big time throws.
Yeah, he did.
And then in the red zone, he made more.
But the national reaction is ridiculous from people who didn't watch.
But
the
again,
game
the reaction to him either way is ridiculous.
Which you
it's
contribute.
pure hate. No, I don't. All I've said is I liked him of the quarterbacks because he's
slurp.
No, he's accurate. I like accuracy. Accuracy is good. I agree. His pick was terrible in the second half, and they probably win that game if he doesn't throw that pick.
He did have a 54.8% completion percentage in that game.
Accuracy. Yeah. I love accuracy.
So you're watching him play, and you don't think he throws an accurate football? I mean, that's the difference between him and Cam Ward.
54% is 54%. That's what I think about his accuracy.
Right, but when we talk about the yard, there's a lot of yak in there, and there's soft defense. And okay, so again, you put conditions on the good stuff, but it's 54%. That's all it is. Okay, that's fine. I know how you argue.
I said the box score is.
We've seen it. We all know. That's fine.
He had an excellent statistical game. But also, I put the conditions mostly, and I know you think this is crazy, on the thing that goes in the most important document, the standings. And it went down as a win in the Titans side.
That is true.
There you go.
Weston Hermitage says, Cam looked horrible in this win. I'm starting to really lose hope for him. His ball's just not accurate. He's missing throws he should make. Other than Josh Allen, how many other quarterbacks really improve their accuracy to the next level?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
But we've said he needs an off-season mechanical breakdown rebuild that has to come directed at the orders of the new coach, the new coordinator, the new quarterback coach. If he's got a chance, it starts with that.
I would agree. I mean,
I agree with you.
It's good.
I mean, it's as simple as that. And we thought that was coming, but the first off season is always rough. It's short.
Yep.
You don't have that much time. And you hoped he was better at those things. And he gets rewarded for making off-script plays where occasionally those mechanics, he overcomes the mechanical stuff with a quick release and a very clever, back across his body throw to a guy who's smart enough to get wide open for him. And I think subconsciously thinks, well, the mechanics didn't matter there.
Well, he still will also at times stand in there and rip a throw that's just perfect.
I mean, the Van Jefferson throw was perfect.
Not consistent.
Somebody in town saying it's not on target. Well, there's a freeze frame of it, perfectly placed on
that's a great throw.
Van Jefferson's hand, and Van Jefferson said you can't get a better throw.
Yeah. No, thought it was a really good throw. Caleb asking if we could send Cam Ward to the Manning Passing Academy this offseason. Cam, we got some work for you out there.
Go be a counselor.
Did you get this nice big vat of RC Cola before the game on Sunday? I saw Andrew tweet out a photo of it.
I tweeted it out as well. This was a pending disaster in the press box. Now listen, I am not one. Andrew does this. Andrew's new generation, and critiques free food. This is code breaking. They give you free food. You be grateful and you shut up. But I was in the press box in Cleveland, and they have a weird array of sodas that are not mainstream sodas. And all three coolers, refrigerators, have no caffeinated beverage. Now, I'm not a coffee drinker, and I'm about to watch Titans Browns.
Yeah.
And I've had no caffeine, and I am in a state of panic. Joe knows this. The hour before kickoff in an NFL press box is the slowest hour in the history of mankind. And I'm like, what am I going to do here with no caffeine? So I meet the guy who's kind of seems to be like running the food service thing. And I'm like, hey, is there any chance there's any caffeinated beverages anywhere? And he's like, are there no colas out there? And I said, no. So he goes into the room and he comes out and he's got like the box that has the sodas in it, but they're warm RC colas. And so I'm
no
like,
Coke or Pepsi, huh?
No.
Just RC Cola.
Yeah. So he gives me 2 RC colas and he's like, do you want ice? And I'm like, I would kill for ice, dude. And so he's like, I'll take care of you. So I say, I'll be right here. So I'm standing like, watching pregame show, holding 2 RC colas. I'm there for about 5 minutes. I look over and the dude's over there rapping with the 2 women who are making omelets. I'm like, oh my God, it doesn't look good for me getting ice. So I go over and I say, hey, still got a chance of that ice? And he goes, oh, yeah, sorry. And so he goes down the hallway and he disappears into like another food service hallway. And I went down there to wait, and I'm watching the things again, whatever. I'm waiting like 7 minutes this time. And I'm like, this is really going to be a
lot of effort.
I'm drinking warm cola. He comes out with an ice bucket, tongs, the ice bucket full of ice, tongs, and 2 big plastic glasses with my RCs. So I go back to press row with this thing under my arm, and I'm like, make way, boys.
Bottle service.
I got bottle service.
Paul Kuharsky bottle service.
And so I downed those 2 things during the first half. It was wide awake.
I mean, is Cleveland in Middle Earth? They can't find a Coke or a Pepsi? What's going on around here?
I don't remember that being a thing.
The omelet was also burnt, but I don't critique these things.
Yeah, no, you don't. No.
We'll have the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Stepping in puddles, stepping in turds. These things happen. Sit on somebody else's wet or dry butt juice.
Kick my ass. Enjoy. Come on. I'm not asking. I'm telling with this. Kick my ass.
Yeah, the average parent age in Kill, Mississippi is probably about 14. So family ties. Those matter. Blood's thicker in the water.
Because I told them this city will burn if you come here and win.
I remember that
with
one.
Malik Willis.
They told me this city was going to burn if we came in here and won the game. So I guess it is.
My joints are all fine.
I smoke weed constantly. All yucking around with Terry Bradshaw forever ago, right? Right. 2 for 1. Punch me too.
It is time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. Paul Kuharsky with us on the program. Taking your thoughts the rest of the show. Joe, the floor is yours.
Thank you for that, official Artie Fufkin. You have seen This Is Spinal Tap, right, Paul Kuharsky?
Yes, multiple times.
Artie Fufkin, man.
How bad is the sequel? Did they damage
it's actually
the
really
legacy?
bad. It's actually really bad that I haven't seen it.
You were going to go in
I know.
theaters.
I was going to go to the theater.
I was going to watch it on a plane, but I got distracted with something else.
Yeah, that's part of the.
Or I think it didn't time up well enough. I hate to be on a plane, watch a movie, and then you cut off like 17 minutes before the end of it, and you never see it.
Yeah, that's part of the holiday plan. Also, I guess Stranger Things, got to catch up on that because what? Are you guys Stranger Things watchers? No. Not at all? No.
I watched a little bit of
Have
it.
they gone like
but they series where they go 5
years
years between seasons.
Yeah. And well, now they have this final season that they're doing. So they did Thanksgiving. So my kids
30-year-old kids now.
My kids have watched it, but they're going to rewatch with me next week. And then they come out with another part
Christmas
of it on
and
Christmas
New
Eve.
Year's.
And then the finale is actually in the theaters on New Year's Eve, apparently.
I don't know.
That's
an interesting
You're a
rollout.
sucker for sticking with all
I like it's good. I mean, it's just like a lot of stuff. Like the first season is by far the best, but it's still
Then
I
you
like
invest.
it. Yeah. We don't have we can get back in the NFL if you guys want. But I have to go back to Notre Dame here for a minute. Like of all the stuff, and by the way, you got Brett Yormark of the Big 12 is now blasting Pete Bavacqua. The Notre Dame AD, Pete Bavacqua. I mean, he has said some. First of all this stuff about the ACC. How dare you? The ACC, because the ACC put on a loop. They played Miami and Notre Dame over and over again on the ACC network.
Yeah.
Well, Miami is an ACC football team, and Notre Dame isn't.
Full
Have
member.
you not noticed that? So what are they supposed to do? All right, who are they going to advocate for? And also, has Notre Dame ever, with any of the success it's ever had in football? Because by the way, their scheduling has been, the ACC has helped them. They've been able to get Clemson on there, Florida State, whatever. Have they ever said, well, the ACC really helping us out? They wouldn't give a shred of credit to the ACC ever.
Never.
But this one takes the cake, and I had it up on my phone, and now I've lost it.
Of course.
Yeah, I know. Pete Bavacqua said yesterday that we had one of the greatest 10-game stretches in the history of college football.
Oh,
He actually said that. One of the greatest 10-game stretches in the history. There are like 4 or 5 10-game stretches this year that are better than Notre Dame's 10-game stretch that he said was one of the greatest 10-game stretches in the history of college football. Like they beat USC and they blew out terrible teams.
This is who they played in that 10-game stretch. Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Stanford.
Come on. You can't just say things. You can't just say things. There should be massive pushback crushing this guy.
Well,
shut up, Notre Dame. Shut up.
And again, I'm glad to hear. I know Marcus Freeman said this again. Like Notre Dame is like Marcus Freeman makes them like harder to hate than like most of the history of Notre Dame football, unless you're a Notre Dame fan. And I am glad that he said, no, this is like, it's not like this is going to be the trend. Like we're just never going to bowl games if we don't make the playoff. So that's good. But again, I at some point, it's kind of like when Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss and then everybody's quiet. Then all of a sudden here and there, a player tweets like, yeah, Lane, you're full of crap. That's not what happened. I really would like to hear from the entirety of the Notre Dame football team, where, again, a whole bunch of guys had the terrible news about the playoff, but then just had their careers cut short. Their career's just over.
Yeah.
Career's over. No 15 practices, no more. I mean, you play 12, 13 games in a calendar year. You say all the time, PK, right? People want to talk about anything or care about things other than actual football. There's so little actual football. And these guys just aren't going to play that last football game. There's no way that is a unanimous team decision. No way at all. So again, let's talk about student athlete experience, and let's talk about pouring into the kids and all that stuff. No, you decided to be a petty little bitch and pull out of your bowl game, and now you're sitting here crying and saying ridiculous stuff because this is just a power play between TV executives.
And I mean, I know you guys have talked about it. I heard you talk about it. They're kids on that team. This would have been their last football game. So they played their last football game without knowing they played their last football game.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying what I just said.
That's the biggest slight. I'm happy to repeat a rare good point that you made. That's the biggest slight to the most important people who you've left out of this. Now there's a report that ESPN is going to lose 30 to 35 million from Notre Dame not being in the Pop-Tart Bowl. I find that number hard to believe, first off. Secondly, while ESPN's, not as lucrative a business as it used to be, I think that they can survive that hit in these circumstances.
And by the way, on the Notre Dame front again, this is 2 straight years, because I know every year, no matter what happens in the playoff, there are going to be people saying, well, the committee just does what ESPN wants, and they're looking for the money. Well, again, SMU was in over Alabama last year. I promise you that keeping Notre Dame out of the playoff is not an ESPN friendly. I promise you ESPN executives are like, crap, when ESPN was kept out. So, let's rip the committee. The committee deserves to be ripped. They say dumb things. Whatever they're doing, I have no idea. They're watching film and they're looking for how the box safeties compare. But they're not the millionaire coaches who are retired are not listening to some ESPN guy say, hey, man, you need to put Notre Dame in because the ratings and stuff. They're not doing that. So can we at least agree on that or no? Is that possible?
It seems, too, that America, my sense is, and I overrate Twitter because that's where I get America's impression of
we
things.
all do.
All right. But America seems to have come to terms with Notre Dame not being what it once was. Right?
I would agree.
So why has America come to terms with that, but they haven't come to terms with it with the Cowboys or the Yankees?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
They aren't what they once were, but they do get 50 mil all on their own from NBC every year for their games.
They do. 615-737-1025, our phone number. One more hour with Kuharsky coming up next. A lot more on the Titans front to get into. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Paul Kuharsky from PaulKuharsky.com with us for the next hour, talking all things Tennessee Titans. We welcome your questions at 615-737-1025.
That music was initially tagged to me by Frank Wycheck. And Frank Wycheck died 2 years ago yesterday, which seems
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it was that long ago. So rest in peace, bud.
Yep, absolutely. 2 years ago yesterday. Hard to believe on that front. PK, I want to get your thoughts on this before we get back into the Titans. What do you make of Phillip Rivers at age 44 coming back to the National Football League? He's on the practice squad now with the Colts. I assume he's going to be in there playing in games coming up. Otherwise, I don't know why he'd be doing this. So you've got the quarterback situation in Indy. Daniel Jones is gone the rest of the year. Riley Leonard, his status for this week, uncertain. What do you make of 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, who's not played in the NFL since 2020, giving it another go?
It's just crazy to me. There's no one 4 years out of the league that's better, or 3 years out of the league, or 2 years out of the league that wants to come out of retirement and play. They got to go 5 years out of the league.
Who else? Throw some names out.
Well, Tannehill's the first one that comes
Right.
to mind, and clearly didn't want to play. But I've got a Hall of Fame ballot that trims 26 guys to 15 that's due on Monday, and he's on it. Now, this is in flux because here's the crazy part. He's on the practice squad. And as long as he's activated off the practice squad, it doesn't count as him being an active NFL player. He gets the stats and all of that, but he needs to be on the quote-unquote active roster in order to disqualify himself from Hall of Fame eligibility.
So wait, you're saying that they can like elevate him each week and it won't count?
Yeah, until he's on the active roster.
But he will be, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess an elevation on Sunday to play puts him on the active roster, but he's also not on the 53. So I still think there's some complications there. But we've been told we may have a ballot. He may be off if he makes the 15 and then plays, we may have a 14-person ballot when we go to the thing.
Jeez.
It should be weird. Now, I don't know. Weird. I don't know that he's making it because just amongst quarterbacks, there's Manning and Breeze. So
is he a Hall of Famer in your mind? Phillip Rivers.
I think he's borderline.
Okay. I know. There's a borderline. So is he yes or is he no?
I don't know.
Put yourself on which side of the border.
I don't know yet.
What else you need? You going to do a deep dive? You going to watch some film? What are we doing here?
More conversations and research.
If he wins it, if he gets them the playoffs and wins a playoff game, then the
case is over, baby.
Over the top.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, and he's a Hall of Famer in 2030.
That's fine. He may have to wait longer, but at least he knows he's getting in.
I don't understand. I mean, I guess
imagine the ceremony when he gets in.
It's very weird to want to come back. He did not look good at the end 5 years ago.
It's like, wow, this entire crowd is Phillip Rivers' immediate family. Imagine that. Good grief. Got a billion children out here in the crowd.
But I mean, Drew Brees is in his first year of eligibility too. I would have gone to him first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so.
I mean, obviously there's we talked about yesterday, the Steichen thing. And I didn't know this. Apparently, like the offense that he coaches is this offense, right?
I'm not one to suggest that Titans fans should be sympathetic about the Colts. But the Colts season, I mean, these people thought they were going to the AFC Championship game, and now
they're probably not making the playoffs.
They're definitely not making the playoffs.
They're a 13.5-point dog this weekend, by the way.
The Jags and the Texans have blown by them in terms of quality football team. It's really something.
I'm hoping for some news later in the week, though, that he's going to play, because I will watch. I will watch Phillip Rivers play the Seattle Seahawks, at least for a little bit.
I mean, how do you not I understand if Titans fans are going to say, what? Or what are you talking about? But how, if you're like unaffiliated, how are you not a Colts fan?
Oh,
the
highly rated
minute
game
on.
too. I mean, I would get that on some TVs.
It's fascinating. Yeah, because you're right. Like Breeze, I mean, you think there's plenty of other people who aren't mid 40s, right?
Yeah.
Who, like the Flacco thing was something that worked out really well for the Browns. But I don't know. He says he's in better shape than when he was.
Yeah, I saw
you
that
know?
stuff. I was like, really?
Out there
That
doing
doesn't
those
speak
old man
well to the type of
workouts.
shape he was in when he was playing, does it? He's gotten to 44 and he's in the best shape.
He's hitting Planet Fitness. You know, I mean, he's out. He's carrying grandbabies around. I don't know.
Alex Smith,
Milking
Ryan
cows.
Fitzpatrick, Ben Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan, Chase Daniel,
They've
Nick
already failed
Foles,
with Matt Ryan.
AJ McCarron.
Well, I mean, you're naming some people that were never good.
Well, I'm saying they're younger. I think they would be more healthy, more spry.
You never know, man.
I'm scared death of what's going to happen to him if he gets hit.
I am too. I mean, they have a pretty good offensive line, but it only takes one.
Yeah.
He's not scrambling. I think he would be pretty much taking a knee. laying
It's like, wow,
down.
he just fell down.
Was it Favre that laid down for Strahan?
Yes.
Yeah, it plays like that.
Yeah.
Peyton,
or he's throwing the ball away constantly.
Peyton was pretty good at dropping too. Like, I am not about to take this hit. I'm just going to fall down.
Yeah.
Hey, got to do what you got to do sometimes.
That's
man.
fine.
Got to do what you got to do. PK, we were having the head coaching conversation earlier. We're just a few weeks away from this getting full-fledged and us finding out who the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans is going to be. This has been a long process to this point. It fired Brian Callahan a long time ago at this point. So we know that still some time before a decision gets made. As this process has gone on, as the year has played out, as some of the candidates we've talked about have more of a body of work with their current jobs right now, where do you kind of come down on where things stand in your mind on the Titans head coaching search? And have you had any change of heart as to where you think the Titans should go as we sit here now about a month out from this getting real?
Well, I think the Tomlin thing is, I heard you guys talking about it when I was driving in. That would change the dynamic, if not for the Titans, for the market. I think, he's the culture and the leadership is of a different caliber. He hasn't had a quarterback in a good while, which is an organizational failing that he's part of. But the thing, and we're not in Pittsburgh, but the complaint doesn't seem to trickle to Omar Khan, who replaced Kevin Colbert and has not done good work there in terms of stocking that roster. I think Mike Tomlin is a very good head coach who maintains a consistent level of success, and you're disappointed that success doesn't go further. I understand that. But if you had a chance at that guy, you'd be crazy not to take your best swing. Thing is, he's used to very steady, very smart football ownership. And this is
the steadiest in sports.
This is the opposite of that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're him and you're out there, like I have no idea if he's going to be out there or not. I mean, I think that there's a decent percentage chance, but even if he is, the percentage chance of him being here, like right now, if you just, it's 0.003. Like,
it's very low.
Well, I mean, but
he's not going to be the Titans
Let's
coach.
rate the jobs. I mean, is he going to be the Arizona coach? Is he going to be the Giants coach? The Giants used to have ownership that was somewhat like Pittsburgh.
Is there ownership?
But it's
Is there
not like
ownership
that.
an issue though? The
Who?
Giants,
Yeah.
the Maras. I mean,
The Maras have been hiring all these idiot coaches that they've had since Coughlin.
Well, I mean, was Dayball a bad hire? I mean, it didn't work out. I don't think it was a bad hire.
Before that, Judge, Shermer, those are some bad hires.
Yeah, I still think that if you're talking about comparing just ownership,
well, they might be smart enough to hire him and back off.
It's not the Jets, you know.
They might be smart enough to hire him and back off. But does he want to go to New York?
Well, that's the thing. Okay, so if he's comparing New York and this job, isn't it largely about the QB, in your belief in the QB?
I think it's largely about the QB, and then I think it's about, do you want to deal with New York? And I mean, he's certainly equipped.
I don't think he gives
to
a
deal
crap
with New York, but does he want to deal with it? It's an interesting question. What else is going to open? Help me out. I'm off the top of my head. I'm not doing
Possibly the Saints.
Cleveland.
possibly Cleveland,
Yep.
which of course that would be.
Saints aren't going to open after a year, are they? Atlanta.
I wouldn't think so, but there's a chance.
Yeah,
And
probably
look,
not.
and I said this
Arizona.
earlier, and I don't know what the percentage chance is, but Andy Reid is 67 years old. People have been talking about whether or not he's going to retire for like 5 years. So, is this the year that he does? And if he does retire, what does that mean for where they look at coach?
Atlanta,
Cincinnati, maybe.
Yep.
Cincinnati. I mean, Tampa Bay. I think the way that they've faded, if they end up
Tampa
out,
Bay,
if they end up out of the playoffs, I think that's possible.
He can't get them over the top. Todd Bowles is not a Super Bowl coach in my eyes, so I think that's a problem. But it's not an attractive slate.
What about Karras Carroll going to be a one and done? As
but it's
bad as
generally
that
not.
is?
Yeah, but he wouldn't
with
go
the
to the
Raiders?
Raiders. I mean, that's a bleep show.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that one above all else is a non-Mike Tomlin job. But look, it'd be very interesting. It'd be very interesting to work with. Obviously, he's the standard is the standard, and all of his kind of cliched and prompt. And who was it I was with the other day? He'll say something like, you can't eat ice cream with a fork. Now let's go get to work. Stuff like that would be kind of interesting to deal with.
It would be. 615-737-1025, our phone number. We'll get more into the Titans coaching search coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Preds fans, Smashville Live returning tonight at 6 o'clock on 102.5 The Game, live from Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue. Luke Evangelista, Nick Blankenberg, the guest tonight. That's tonight at Brewhouse 100 in Bellevue and only on 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky with us here on the program, talking Titans and the coaching search that is imminently around the corner for the Tennessee Titans. Jeff asking if we believe the Titans have a realistic chance of landing a good, established, proven head coach until the team has new ownership. Well, they're not going to have new ownership.
What is that?
So,
the team has new ownership.
I think it all comes down to how do you view the quarterback? How do you view overall kind of the young nucleus that the Titans are trying to build here? And I threw this question out there earlier, and I don't think it's a huge factor, but how important, PK, would the number one pick be to you if you're a coach out there where, with the number one pick, you're not taking a quarterback this year, I would assume. You have an opportunity maybe with the number one pick to trade back, collect more assets, and maybe build the roster a little bit quicker if that's what you're able to do. Right now, the Titans would not have the number one overall pick after their win in Cleveland. So does that factor into this at all? Do you think the number one pick makes the job any more attractive to one of those head coaches that Jeff is talking about out there?
I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt. You want to be able to sell the guy as much as you can, but that doesn't mean you're aspiring to get it. I mean, he knows he's going to get a high-ranking player or potential trade down to get more draft capital, whether you're trading down from 1 or potentially 2. It's too early to say and to know exactly what they're going to have. So, it's a factor. All of it's a factor. What is the package that you're selling to a new head coach? But I mean, I don't think it's a chief thing. I think, this head coach, Mike Herndon, wrote a really good piece or late last week at my site, toot my site's horn, about how fast you can turn things around with the right head coach. A lot of these guys have done quick work without huge influxes of talent.
But have they taken over places as bad as this in terms of talent? That'd be my question.
Maybe not as bad as this, but not good. And even Matt Nagy, who, his overall tenure there is not regarded as good, but it wasn't as bad as people think. But first year in Chicago was a pretty dramatic turnaround. Vrabel's doing it now. Steichen did it. If I could get into this damn thing, I could tell you more of the people on his list. But
Sean Payton has done it in Denver.
Yeah, it's not that uncommon if you find the right guy to have something dramatic happen without a massive influx of people.
So, okay, but let's go through
Dan Quinn did it.
Yeah.
Now,
but again, let's go through all those situations. Dan Quinn did it. They did have a really good offseason of like they plugged a lot of holes quickly, and Jaden Daniels was insane last year. Okay. Again, Steichen did it, but like the Colts have had some talent in place. Vrabel doing it right now. He's got one of the bright young quarterbacks in the game.
I think Vrabel's a good example, though.
But they've got talent on D, man.
Drake May. I'm not saying that Cam Ward Drake May, and I've raised this several times, but Drake May did not play up to expectations last year. He didn't have a good coaching situation and everything. They gave him better people. They adjusted things a little bit around him, and he's taken off. Now, I'm not saying Cam's going to be equivalent, but I'm saying Cam could conceivably follow a similar path on a lesser level.
Yeah, right. I'm just saying I still would argue that that they have a lot. They've got a lot more talent than the Titans. Now, Titans have an off season to go with all this too, right? So if they have a great draft and they have a great free agency period to go with the new coach and the culture, then yeah, that's why the NFL can turn around so quickly. But it would have to be a whole bunch of hits and very few misses between now and the start of next year.
Well, and look, the Wizenhunt Malarkey team was bereft of talent, and jumped to 9 wins in a season. And Mike Malarkey,
Ben Jones, Jack Conklin,
right.
DeMarco Murray.
But the Patriots didn't. I mean, the Patriots didn't have talent last year. That roster was horrible. And then they
McVay
spent
did it.
a ton of
McVay
money
did it
in the
first year.
offseason.
Also, the other guys he mentioned, McVay, Ryans,
Yeah.
So it happens. The blueprint for a fast Titans turnaround is there if you hire the right guy. And I'm not saying they're going to go from 2 wins to 9 wins, but those 6 wins we were talking about this year, that should show up next year unless they blow it.
But like you just said, so yes, right hire with what the Patriots did, what the Texans did with their personnel.
Right.
Like you have to have both, right? I'm just saying you can't isolate like a coach comes in here. I would argue put any coach with this group that's over there right now. I don't care. Name your coach in whatever era.
Mike Vrabel this year.
Yeah.
With this roster.
What's he do?
With this roster, he wins more than 2 games.
Okay. But he wins 4 or 5 because he did lose 18 of his last 24.
Yeah. He wins 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I mean, I would give him a couple more. Yeah. But that's a good example. I'm just saying, like there's a limitation, right? Like
No, absolutely. But that string of games where they lost by 3, 7, and 6 or whatever, the Chargers, whoever it was, Seattle, those 3 games where it was like, oh, they're playing better. I think a Mike Vrabel team finds a way to win at least one of those games, right? They find a way to run the ball more consistently than this team has. Look, I'm a Vrabel guy. Yeah, pure and simple.
Yes, you are.
Well, we hadn't done this a while, so your number 1 target right now, if you had to pick right now, if you had your pick of the litter of who is going to be the next Titans coach, Joe, let's start with you. Who would it be?
Well, okay, but does that include?
Let's take Tomlin out of it.
Hypotheticals.
Let's take Tomlin and Harbaugh out of it.
Yeah. God, the thing is, I've actually been with Kuharsky on the whole Stefanski thing, and then I'm watching these 2-point things, and then him.
Well, let's talk about the 2-point thing real quick. I don't agree with the philosophy, but the philosophy is 50-50 chance on that. So you're going to get one of the 2. The thinking is you're going to get one of the 2. If you get the first one, then you kick the extra point on the second one and you win.
That is the math part of it, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
The actual play call itself.
There is a logic to it.
Yeah, I understand the reasoning. I hate it.
The play call itself.
And the play call on the second
horrific.
one is horrific.
Yeah. But then he also said, we might be going to go back to Dylan Gabriel, which then he amended quickly the next day. But I like, are we counting him? Is he also out of the conversation?
I'd count him.
He's hypothetical.
But yeah, I'd make him hypothetical. Say, give your first choice if people are fired and your first choice if people aren't.
I'll stick with Saleh. I mean, I still think that I still think he's really good. I think he is a culture guy. I understand the hesitation because everything went wrong with the Jets and he did not handle it well. But I think him with a good OC would be a good choice. And again, then you get into so you're bringing a good OC, you're bringing a good OC who's going to be around for a while or not. But I think I'd stick with that. I mean, there's nobody out there that, like, I don't hate Nagy as a possibility. I don't hate that. Maybe does the Arthur Smith stuff fade a little bit? I don't know. I don't really care that much that he's been here before. I'm not sure on him as a head coach. I guess for me, it's like Saleh to me is, I just feel like he's destined to be a Vrabel-like head coach somewhere. And, of course, the Titans are interested in someone like Vrabel, right? So give me Robert Saleh.
Okay.
I hate for us to be on the same page, but I like him as well. I think he's popular in coaching circles and will be able to draw a pretty good staff. And I think he's McVay adjacent in some way, shape, or form. He knows Mike LaFleur, who I think he could get. And so you want that. And I think he's got the personality for it. I think he's probably learned a lot out of that first experience and would revise his failures. And so he's a front runner for me, but I reserve the right to change my mind and evolve.
I would go Nagy at number 1. I think, as PK mentioned, his tenure in Chicago is better than people think it is. Like he's largely dealing with Mitch Trubisky, which Not great. So he would be my number one. I'll tell you another one that I would actually put over Saleh, but I don't think is going to happen because of everything that's swirling around him right now with the NFL. I know it's a tough year for the Vikings because of the quarterback play largely. Brian Flores is a good coach, and I would put him over Saleh. That's just me. But I don't think there's any shot of that happening.
I think he's a little bit of a wild card, man. Like he is incredible DC, but I just wonder if he's like just should be a DC. Like I don't know, man. He's just like some of the stuff in Miami, even some of the stuff with Tua. And I know Tua is not great, but I mean he hated his guts.
He did.
You know? I don't know. I think I just feel like there's Saleh's a little more stable.
I think my kind of wild card would be Clint Kubiak.
Yep.
The Seattle offensive coordinator who's doing really good work there. I'm falling in love with the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks right now to me are my Super Bowl favorite. Good bloodlines. I know a lot of people say, oh, not another Nepo. I mean, I never thought of Brian Callahan as a Nepo guy, and I don't think of Clint Kubiak as a Nepo guy. But I like the idea of him if you're looking for offense.
615-737-1025. Our phone number will take your thoughts on the Titans head coaching search. A lot more on the Titans to get into with PK coming up next as well. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Starting tomorrow between noon and 3, Chase and Big Joe will have your chance to win a $100 Moments Peace Salon and Day Spa gift card and qualify to win a $1,000 Genesis Diamonds gift card as well. It's the 12 days of Christmas on 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky with us here on the program. Tommy on the text line says, hire Mike McCarthy. He's done it with 2 teams. And screw going for any of those coordinators. He knows how to win games. Us fans are sick of this mess that we're in right now. None of us mentioned McCarthy on our list there.
I think he's a little bit of a dinosaur. I mean, I think he could get you to a certain level. And I know he's won a Super Bowl. I just think new and fresh has a certain importance. Not new, but fresh.
Yeah. Wes from Heritage says, if Saleh couldn't turn the inept Jets around, how in the world would he turn this team around?
He was handcuffed by Aaron Rodgers and a conceively more inept, meddling owner.
I mean, tell me who's been able to turn the Jets around. You know, like
Rex Ryan for a little bit.
Yeah. So let's go back to 2009. I mean, yeah, obviously it didn't work out there. I mean, but to me, it's more like, can the Titans be turned around? Now, again, not saying Saleh would definitely do it, but I don't think the Jets' experience for him is disqualifying, and I think the NFL feels that way too.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a big candidate in this cycle.
Well, and he's done well for himself going back to San Francisco, and they have, Kyle Shanahan has done a great job this year, and they've been navigating through injuries at quarterback. But they also, defensively have played pretty well, and they've not had Nick Bosa. And that's a huge deal, losing that guy as your pass rusher. So I think the job that he's done this year, they're at 9-4 right now. By the way, we'll get a firsthand look at him this weekend in that defense. We'll see how it goes. 12.5-point favorite are the San Francisco 49ers. But I think the job that he has done in the aftermath of the Jets, and frankly, the more separation people get from the Jets around the league, it's like, well, look, Rodgers came back and looks like he's got a clue in Pittsburgh how to play quarterback still. Like there is a Jets tax that's out there.
Well, it's kind of like people leaving the Titans, and all of a sudden they
go rehabilitate.
Good. Someone's asked about Jim Schwartz. Well, the Titans just dunked on him. Are they going to make Saleh look bad this week? All these possible candidates, are you going to embarrass them with Mike McCoy's fantastic game plans? Maybe.
One of the things about Stefanski, who I like, but I mean, you'd have a real hard time, and I know they can't base it on this. But ladies and gentlemen, our new coach, Kevin Stefanski, who we beat with the terrible team we're giving him to take over, we beat him.
Yeah, I think that'd be tough.
Right. It's like Hunter Yurachek at Arkansas can at least say, hey, the Memphis coach I just hired, he just beat us this year. So that's good. Also, here, let me give you some more college football playoff explanations.
How about this
Thank you, Hunter.
This is an interesting one that we've not thought a lot about, but when you really dive into it, it could happen. Joe, we talked earlier this week, looking at the AFC. It feels like if Buffalo's not going to do it now, when are they going to do it? So let's say they have an early postseason exit and they say, you know what? We got to fire Sean McDermott. Would he be high on your list?
Yeah, I'd be high on my list. Yeah,
I think so too. I don't see how you wouldn't give him very serious examination. Now, I think his time could be up there. Joe Brady, on the other hand, who people are hot about, I'm not interested in at all. I mean, people pass through Buffalo and they do well with a MVP quarterback. Whoa. I mean, Joe Brady moved around a lot before
people
that.
could say that about McDermott too, right?
Yeah, but I mean, McDermott's coached a team around Josh Allen for an extended period of time.
Right, like I like him, but I'm just saying that's where it gets hard with the coordinators, because I hear you. I hear what you're saying. And look, Daboll ended up being some weird stuff with Daboll and like some of his coordinators and all that stuff. Like he's a little bit out there. But I still think he also deserved credit for what he did at Buffalo. I think he still got pretty good play early out of Daniel Jones, who was struggling when he got, you know what I mean? Like I don't think that Daboll was like a bad hire, a bad coach. I mean,
he's got a hot temper.
Yeah, that's probably the issue.
Yeah, it's a personality thing.
Keep him out of the injury tent.
Went into the injury tent. That was bad. Bad.
Jackson, get out here!
We can't go with this backup.
I'm gonna have to play Russell Wilson if you don't get out on the 10.
Hey, doctors, take the quarter off, okay? Yeah.
Coffee break for the medical
yeah,
staff.
We just need like a couple series. Then you can look at his head again.
That's pretty good.
Oh man, good grief. On the offensive line front, we've spent a lot of time basically getting all over J.C. Latham the last few weeks. I thought a nice response, not only from the entire line, but from him as well in this game. I think the PFF, he was credited with surrendering 2 pressures and 1 sack in the game, but a 79 in the pass blocking grade. If you care at all about what PFF grades had to say, I'm interested to see if he can do it again, but it would be very nice if the Cleveland game, if nothing else on the offensive line, is a turning point for him, because boy, do they need that.
That was a strong effort by J.C. Latham. We've been all over him. He deserves credit there for sure. And again, hope it's the start of something. It's a couple plays a game that really get emphasized, and that's all it takes for an offensive lineman to have a bad game. We know that.
Yep.
But his look really bad, and then they get on Twitter and they get replayed. And does it get over magnified? I'm asking that question. I'm maybe a part of doing that. But they need him to be steadier and not to make those plays that we're talking about at crucial times, or for those to be the pivotal plays in a game.
Yeah. Like I didn't go through the film, watch the game. I didn't think he was like special or anything in this game, but like you said, if you don't have
he didn't lose
you don't have the brutal mistakes like he's been making, then it's improvement. The PFF thing is just, good or bad, because again, Mandor seems to me seems to me like he did all right,
He did all right.
but the PFF just dogged him.
He sucks.
Just ripped him. What did your guy get into? I want Bedingfield grades. I don't want I want Bedingfield to take it a step further and give me grades, individual grades on offensive linemen. Think he'll do it? Think he'll do it?
Tough of a request, given that he turns it around quickly.
So PFF has grades like as soon as the game ends.
Yeah, and that's part of why we don't like PFF.
Yes, well, that's true.
Is Jeffrey Simmons going to be an all-pro this year? He's playing like that.
Should be.
He does play for the Tennessee Titans on a horrible team. So where do you think that all adds up?
I mean, he's 3rd in fan voting at defensive tackle, and we don't trust the fans. How about the fans who have Kevin Zeitler inside the top 10, but not Peter Skronsky?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fans are idiots.
Just across the board, broad brush. What about who's
that's pretty egregious.
That's pretty bad. Who's ahead of DK at returner? Do you know? Because he's 2nd, right?
I don't know. I think it might be Turpin, living on reputation, but I'm not certain. I do have access to it, but it would take me a while to get to it, and I don't want to do your thing where
it would take a while,
5 minutes while I sort through my email.
No, we can talk while you do it. I mean, it should take you seriously 10 seconds. Like, I bet you I could actually do this on the air.
Well, go ahead. You
in
do
about
it.
15 seconds.
You do it.
Okay. So, Robbie, what's our next topic?
Well, I mean, whatever you want it to be. We got all things on time.
I just want you guys to speak amongst yourselves,
I've got it.
Are we timing you?
This out.
Because I think we're about at 12 right now.
Specialist, Turpin. It's Turpin.
Okay, there you go.
See? You said it would take a while. I was just testing you, and you passed.
Duvernay behind him.
Turpin's still pretty good.
We were about 13 seconds deep there. I don't know if Rexrode had even logged into like whatever he was trying to get
It's
to.
Weird that, I mean, from what I checked, there's still an AFC team, quote unquote, and an NFC team, but the fan voting is not divided in AFC and NFC.
There you go.
All of it is.
Explain it all to me.
Well, honestly, we should just do like all pro voting.
No, just elect 2 Pro Bowl teams, and then never add an alternate ever, or don't distinguish the alternate as or distinguish him as an alternate.
Yeah.
Like in his Pro Football Reference bio, I need it to have a pineapple, but say 6, pineapple 6,
yeah,
meaning he's the 6th quarterback. When Tyler Huntley is a Pro Bowl.
He
I
will
needed to
forever
say,
be known as a Pro Bowl
I needed to
quarterback.
say pineapple 8. You know, if it's a pineapple 1, then it kind of has some meaning. But a pineapple 8 is a joke.
What's your obsession with pineapples?
Well, pineapple.
You guys
it used
put
to
that
be
on your
that,
door?
Well, no, because yeah, I'm a big swinger.
I'm trying to wonder why you do about pineapples.
Clip it.
Yeah, that's gonna haunt me. When they used to use pineapples in media guides, or good media guides use them to distinguish. And the Pro Bowl, as you know, Joe, used to be in Hawaii.
Yes.
And pineapples are big in Hawaii.
Great. I really didn't know that. That's weird. But I'm
So
glad
in
you know. I'm
addition
glad
to
you
the
know all
symbol
about
of
the pineapples
swingers-
on the front porch, though.
So I put a pineapple one time on my neighbor's porch after 3 weeks after we had a conversation about the meaning of pineapple. I put it on my neighbor's porch as a gag, like 8 o'clock one evening. And I was like, I've got to put this on a porch, see how long it lasts there, try to send out a signal on their behalf, do the whole thing. And then nothing happened, no comments or anything. And so 2 months later, I asked about it, and his daughter took it in with some groceries.
Oh, cool. A nice pineapple. on the
Just
front
thought
porch.
it was amongst the food they had delivered.
You started telling that
Totally
story.
backfired.
You started telling that story, and I was like, this has real potential.
Somebody's going to show up to the front porch.
Totally backfired.
Oh, what are you
They
guys
probably
doing?
chopped it up and had it in fruit salad.
Hey, guys, you guys need a plumber? I was just in the neighborhood.
I'm sure this conversation will resurface at some point. One more segment with PK coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Paul Kuharsky, Ian Safar here with you on this Wednesday morning.
Look at that line.
Big day in Lebanon today. In and out opening up.
I just drove past that like a week ago, too. And I was like, when does it open? No,
Several.
today.
It's funny. In
100
California,
people standing in line for it.
In California, the line is in cars where the weather's nice. And here, they've created it where it's cold, that the line is in human beings.
Yeah, like, is there not a drive-thru?
I'm sure there is. I don't know.
But people have to line up and freeze and wait for the
big day around here.
Good burger.
Great burger.
Love it. Still a fast food burger. Just saying.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be in line? That's what you're saying?
No, I'll wait like 2 days.
His son's getting home on Sunday, and their quest for the best burger, they're going to go.
There you go.
Friday.
I've set some rules for the boy when he gets home, but Joe's not accepting.
Oh yeah, no,
Katie, I think we should talk on the phone. I've got some stuff for you. Joe's ignoring it.
No. I'm here for. Go ahead, send me all your suggestions. We'll implement some rules.
You seem really not willing to take my advice.
I mean, we'll try, man. We'll try.
Let me ask you this: this is a play.
It seems enforcement's a problem.
Well, could be.
Could be.
We have not talked about this play, Joe. I want to get PK's thoughts on it too. Xavier Woods gets the flag on the play that knocked out Cedric Tillman on Sunday. And if you look at the replay, and Schlereth was talking about this on the broadcast too, I don't really know what Xavier Woods is supposed to do on that play. Like, I thought it was a pretty clean hit, and then the flag gets thrown on the play. Anyway, what did you make of that play, PK?
Yeah, I think it's a harsh penalty. I don't expect there'll be a fine to go with it. We talked to John Fossil yesterday. He's the guy that tells us if things were judged to be fair or not. We should have asked him about that, though it wasn't a special teams play. NFL officiating is just horrible across the board. People think it's Titans specific. It is not. But there were 4 calls from the Jaguars game that were not penalties, that were fines for the Jaguars.
Yep.
I mean, that's outrageous. Outrageous.
I mean, NFL officiating, it's not perfect. I don't know if I'd agree that it's horrible, that it's just straight up horrible. And again, this is probably, it's all relative when you're coming from college football to the NFL, because there is some college officiating that is really problematic.
Well, just because college officiating is really problematic doesn't put me on a sliding scale for the NFL.
I understand. I think that, I think it's okay. What do you think?
I think it's okay. I mean, they inexplicably sometimes miss calls when they're, and it's one, I know you're going to miss calls, but then you look at the replay and it's like, wow, the official's looking right at the play and he still missed it.
Yeah.
And that just boggles my mind.
I understand it's very hard. I would have no chance in real time to judge things correctly. So I think we underestimate the difficulty of it, but I think they should use the box more. And I understand that opens up the potential for scandal, but I think they can find a way to do it transparently and cleanly. The ACC, I watched a little bit of the ACC game where they went to replay and everything's open mic. I mean, just find ways. It's 2025. You can be transparent and get calls right and be accurate. And be everything at the expense of accuracy.
Well, and be relatively speedy in the process too. Yeah. Because the NFL, to their credit, other than I guess the Titans game on Sunday, has done a pretty good job of nailing down that window of how long the game is going to last, and I don't want to see that change.
Yeah.
They huddle forever.
Yeah, unlike college football there too. By the way, though, Big 12 is doing the ACC thing, and they are next year going to open it up so people can hear the discussions. They should all do it. Again,
the ACC one I saw was spectacular.
Yeah, they
synced up two different videos to the same time. Where's the ball? Where's the foot? Bang, boom.
You know, you got guys in the booth there, like, don't swear, okay? You know, like, you're on live TV. Other than that, let's go. Well, there's no reason that everybody shouldn't do it. Looking at you, SEC. Looking at you, Greg Sankey.
Yeah.
How about a little transparency?
I am all with you. So how do we expect the San Francisco game to go on Sunday? Can the Titans follow it up? Back-to-back good efforts.
I'll believe the Titans could follow something up when I see the Titans follow something up. I mean, that's generally my policy with this team on everything. I believe they can do something right repeatedly when they do something right repeatedly.
I got to say, just the running, like you said earlier, running the football, it is what I thought they'd be good at this year. I thought they'd have a chance to be pretty good at it, and that would just help everything else, kind of come along. And it's obviously been terrible, and it was just great on Sunday. And so I do wonder if like that in particular is something that you could find momentum with. I mean, we've been talking about Pollard, it's probably a little tread off the tires here, but maybe they can replicate that.
Well, I was saying he was a 10-carry guy, largely because he was a 10-carry guy.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, if you get him more carries, he can do something more with it. But I'm not convinced they can get him more carries. And I don't know. I think the Browns had an especially awful day. Not to discredit Tony Pollard, but Jim Schwartz didn't have a good day.
Tony Pollard should not run for 65-yard touchdowns in an NFL game.
No,
all due respect to him.
He doesn't have second-level speed by any means.
But we just saw him do it.
25 carries. Let's try it again.
Any given Sunday, Joe. Any given Sunday.
That's way go out on a cliche. I like that.
Yeah.
Got any more?
Well,
when the going get tough.
We're not going to see that in any of the first-round playoff games. We know that.
That's true.
Don't block the box and be sure to lock the locks. I left Ian a little present for you that hopefully will grace your show tomorrow, and I'll be present in a way.
Wow. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. That does it for us today on the program. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.
See ya.